and welcome to Scrim Central's Midweek Madness. I am Spaceman, and I'm joined by my boy Ninja. How are you doing tonight, Ninja?
Yeah, what it is, we're all good. I'm sitting here in my pajamas, leaning back on my chair, ready to enjoy some Overwatch like the true degenerate that I am.
And speaking of enjoy some Overwatch, we've got some good teams here tonight. We've got the Ghosts of Pripyat, who have been in Scrim Central for a very, very long time. They've won the bi-monthly brawl before. Any players to look out for on their roster, do you think, Ninja?
I can't confess to knowing too much about the teams. They won the bi-monthly brawl one time, then they can't be that bad. So I think as a team, it'll be quite interesting to watch.
Cool. And they're up against Bodytype 4, who we have not seen before. So these guys, perhaps something to prove against the Ghosts of Pripyat, who, as we said before, did win that bi-monthly brawl, which isn't a short task. You've got to beat quite a few teams to take that victory there. And if you are just joining us, this is Scrim Central's Midweek Madness. We do a bit of scrimming tonight, so this is in scrim format. So expect control maps to go 3 maps rather than 2. Expect there to maybe be some last-minute changes as well in map type as well. It's whatever the teams want to do. We're here to facilitate that and to cast over that. So I'm excited to see what we're going to do first. Looks like it's going to be Oasis Ninja.
Looking forward to that. Personal favourite of mine, Oasis. I actually quite enjoy it. Some of my team would beg to differ, and they hate it with a burning passion. But, I quite like it. It's quite flexible tank-wise. You can do kind of what you want, really.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different... There's always the 3 different maps within Oasis with different ways to play it. Looks like we're going to this particular map now. I'm just interested to see what the team's locking for their compositions here.
Well, Gardens is an interesting one, really, because you have the option of running something really quite tank-heavy, because it is kind of quite a confined point. But also, if you want to play a dive that's also really viable, Pharah is particularly strong on Oasis as a whole. There's a little bit of high ground, which is always useful to control.
Yeah, I mean, that high ground's so important in all of these battles as well. But again, depending on what composition, if both teams choose to run goats, we're going to see a lot of fighting on the point, right?
Yeah.
But looks like we are going to see Farah locked in there for Hate. So he is subbing in for OGR, who is the captain of Ghosts of Pripyat. So a bit of a role to fill there. Although I believe Mapo being vice captain is going to be doing a lot of the shot calling.
Maybe interesting to see. I would have expected Lucio and Mango to kind of step up to the shot calling, but each their own. Each team's got something different.
Yeah, and it does look like we're going to see DaWae versus the heavy composition Bodytype 4 here, so could be pretty damn interesting.
Bodytype 4 coming out with a bit of a mix 2-2-2. Got the Genji for more of the range, quick Dragon Blade as well. Very good, powerful ultimate. Even if it can get shut down really quite easily, Mango falling low as well. Got to be careful of that.
Yeah, Ghost of Pripyat just taking that high ground there with that dive composition. Bodytype 4 just dropping position there on those steps coming in, but DaWae ends up taking down Earl Dragon quite early on. A lot of early picks there for Ghost of Pripyat, and it looks like they're going to skew this point.
Great work for these Ghosts here. Look, they're still chasing the kills right into the doorway as well. Mango perhaps regretting his decisions. Oof.
Maybe overextending a little bit there too, taking advantage of that. Bodytype 4 just regrouping before they go back in as a 6.
By the time they do get moving, Mango's probably already back at the point. He's basically there already. Mad Lucio speed.
Yeah, that speed boost just jumping around the point there. But Bodytype 4 going into the point. There is a hack there in the backline. Carries has to be very careful and very low health. Mango straight in there, finishes him off. A lot of healing Bodytype 4. Mango gets the 2 picks there, getting Zeus, hates on that Parasol, just pumping all the damage in from the sky, kills Sanctuary there, and very good defense there from Ghost of Pripyat.
Yeah, another really quite dominating performance there actually from the Ghosts of Pripyat. Really very coordinated dive. They seem to have been practicing hard. I imagine the bi-monthly brawl win bringing up a lot of confidence to kind of just keep going, keep the practice. Really good target coordination, as I said before. Just focusing down that one guy, and that guy will die very soon. Bio-nades coming in very handy as well. Really powerful, like really powerful ability at the moment.
Diva Bomb coming out with the EMP. Doesn't actually catch anyone. In the meantime, Bodytype 4 coming around the outside. They're getting on point. They've got a couple of members on this point here. Ghost of Pripyat had to come back. They're hate with the barrage. Manages to pick off Steinrich there. Sanctuary does pick him out the air, but there's just so many kills going the way of Ghost of Pripyat. 27-4, no real chance in the rest of this fight, and they're going to have to regroup again. And look at the percentage on that clock, Ninja. 85%. They've only got perhaps one fight in this.
Yeah, that's coming up on the 10-second mark. Really, actually, very subtle nice play that I want to point out from MrFizz there. Popping that Primal Rage, basically just to keep Shaquan just under control.
And now coming out onto Shaquan, he's pushing onto the point. Can he find anyone? At the moment, not really. He's pushing ahead, he's bubbled, he's swinging away. Doesn't really get anyone. In the meantime, though, his team's going down. A lot of picks on both sides here. MrFizz managed to finish off Shaquan there. Hate getting duped. He's back on that Doom Fist as well. Love to see it. Unfortunate start there for Bodytype 4, but perhaps they can turn it around in the next map.
Indeed. That play from MrFizz that I wanted to talk about. Really quite subtle. If you're not into main tanks, you may not have spotted it. But he used Primal Rage and really quite effectively zoned out Shaquan from the fight, keeping him in that little room with the large health back on it. Meant that there was no shield for the rest of Bodytype 4, and they just had to get onto the point in the face of a fire barrage and various other abilities as well. Really devastating play, and he actually got the kill right at the end, so really good work from MrFizz there.
Yeah, and Ghost of Pripyat really showing that dominant dive that they were playing. They're getting into the back line of Bodytype 4, killing off the back line before the fights could really take place. But we're looking at some changes here. I mean, actually, no, they are going to run dive again, it looks like. They're happy with that. They're coming out the doors with that, and we're going to still see this heavy type composition for Bodytype 4.
I personally wouldn't call it that much of a dive. They've kind of gone like this multi-tank thing, but they've kept the Winston, kind of allow him to contest angles that most of the other tank lineup really can't.
The two, they're punishing Mapo for overextending there. Sorry, Mapo for overextending there. In the meantime, though, Ghost of Mapo is coming on the point, trying to tempt Bodytype 4 off the high ground, and it seems to work. They come down. Shaquan does get the pick on his opposite number, Hate, though. There's picks on both sides. Flawless is also getting Earl Dragon quite early on in that. And Bodytype 4 really just wanting to win out this fight, take it on the point. DaWae just punched away there by Dew, and the point does go to Bodytype 4.
Mapo's got to be careful here. He can't be feeding for too long. Fortunately, he doesn't manage to get out. That could have been really, really costly if they managed to get him out of the mech.
Could have been very, very costly, but Ghost of Pripyat not willing to waste any time. They're already back at the 6, onto the point. Charge up from Hate doesn't actually get anyone. Do there, charging up his punch, he gets Mapo doing a little bit of damage there. Coming out the Meteor Strike, Coalescence now also coming out from Kero, just healing his team up in the back line. MrFizz managed to get Sanctuary though, so a lot of healing there gone from the side of Bodytype 4. MrFizz doing work as well, he gets Dynamitz and Hate coming in there on that right heart, gets a couple of picks. That was a very, very good fight there from Ghost of Pepper, flipping the point over to them. Bodytype 4 managed to stall out a little bit, but they're on 39%.
Big work coming out from the tanks there. It's always good to see a Reinhardt just swinging like he hasn't got a care in the world. It's great to watch. MrFizz as well also putting in some really sterling effort there actually. Managing to zone out the kills that are needed to try and secure the fight win.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the ultimates on both sides. Speaking of ultimates, Shatter coming down from Hate, Charge comes in as well. Deep Rock coming out, Diva Bomb doesn't actually catch anyone. So a lot of the ults that Ghost of Pripyat had have now been used, but they're going in there. MrFizz just with that cleave, picks up Shaquan, he was very, very low health there. Hate coming in, Flawless is finishing off a few kills there. But they've still got a couple of ultimates in the bank, but Bodytype 4, we're going to see that Graviton very, very soon.
Well, they lost DaWae really early in the fight, which is unfortunate because then they'd have no guidance. But with just so much of a health pool and so much healing as well coming out from the Ana in particular, now that Ana's more viable in the meta again, really losing a member doesn't really matter all that much.
Yeah, Bodytype 4 now coming back to the point, but Shaquan is anti-naded. No one could heal him. He's taken out by MrFizz. Some of the ults coming out here. The grab comes down. The Duke now comes down, but he doesn't get any picks because the rest of his team are gone. I think they tried for the Space Jam there, didn't quite work out.
Yeah, I think he came up a little bit late, old Du. Although as he asked us to call us in the chat earlier, he asked us to call him Durex, and that would be fine, so I'm going to stick with that for now.
Or maybe he's thinking he can protect his team with that Doom Fist, but not working out as planned so far, unfortunately. But I'm loving seeing DaWae so far forward. How is he not punished for that? He's just swinging away, just goes to Pripyat, just delaying Bodytype's force push here.
Oh, that's cheeky.
Diva Bomb from Mapo, it gets the 3k. What a shutdown. There's nothing Bodytype 4 can do to deal with that. all this talk of two in French, it's going to be confused there. But what a diva bomb at the end there. A great hold there. Goes to Pripyat.
Proper clutch coming out there. Shaquan just probably in the wrong place at the wrong time. Perhaps not a lot if he could do at the time, but it is unfortunate. Really great to see though. Nice diva bomb right at the end. Spectacular way to end off the round.
Yeah, and we are going to the third map. As we said before, this is a scrim, so the teams want to play on all the different maps to try out their different strategies, compositions, or whatever they might want to work on internally. And there's some talk as well of it may go best of 5, so we'll see. If Bodytype 4 can win out on this one, we might also see another Oasis map. But let's see how this map plays out.
Indeed, as the team's coming out, not a load of changes at Genji from Durex rather. Swapping in for the Hanzo this time. It's going to be an interesting setup coming from the Ghost of Pripyat though. Keeping that Winston to maintain high ground control, but other than that, looking for like a weird mix coming out here.
Yeah, there's no real, I mean, G2 is kind of the off-tank there on Hate, but he's immediately punished by G there on the Hanzo, so maybe a very good switch here. Bodytype 4 now looking to go to this high ground to push off Ghost of Pripyat, doing quite a good job of it as well. G managed to get the pick on DaWae. In the meantime, Shaquan's on the point alone here, just trying to cap it. There's a couple of members of Ghost of Pripyat here. Both teams rather spread out, just trying to get a few picks perhaps, but Shaquan still by himself. In the meantime, Ghost of Pripyat have noticed this. They're all coming for him here. Got MrFizz, and Mapo does get the kill on Shaquan there. No team really taking a decisive victory here. MrFizz maybe thinks it's the time to do so. He dives in, he does get Kero, a lot of healing down for Bodytype 4 now. Duo gets him in return, but doesn't matter. Goes to Pripyat, have got point control now.
My man Durex really picking up the steam here, putting in a lot of work. He does manage to just about get out. It was really unfortunate from Shaquan actually right at the beginning, getting so split off from his team. They just couldn't get to him, or there wasn't like proper communication there and they couldn't get to him because of that. But it was unfortunate to see right at the end.
Yeah, well, they're back on the point now, and they're very, very close to a few ults here, but Mapo with his own ult, he gets the 2k with that visor, gets used, gets Sanctuary, he gets the 4k with that visor, shutting
Please,
it all
Mapo,
down.
calm down.
Calm down, my son. Jesus, only one real ult they used as well from the Ghost of Pripyat, so they've got quite a few ults in the bank here, but Bodytype 4 still have that dragon grab combo, so hopefully we see that.
Could be deadly for them. Mango just doing Lucio things over the top, perhaps trying to do something sneaky. What's he doing?
There's only so much you can do.
What's he doing?
Sneak towards Lucio, right? But the blade now coming out. Here's the nano blade. Hate gets 1, he gets the 2. Can he get any more? Yes, he gets the 3. He's killed Kero. What? He himself is killed by Shaquan, but that's it, right? From a nano blade, that's exactly what you want. You get a 3k with it. That shut down the push.
I think any more than 2 from particularly a nano blade is probably a poor performance and may have to reevaluate your life decisions, but really did a good job there with a 3k right at the end, securing the fight almost before it began.
Yeah, and I love seeing these ults, right? So they've used the visor to shut down a team fight. They've used a nano blade, so that's 2 ults out the way to secure the team fight. In the meantime, Bodytype 4 do have all these ults on, but we're in last fight territory here. They need to win this, and they need to win it now. And they're moving on to the point. Shaquan's just slept there, not being able to do much. MrFizz diving in. Here comes the grab. Here comes the dragon. Can it get anyone? It doesn't really matter because MrFizz is down quite early on there anyway. So the picks are going on the side of Bodytype 4, they're moving on to the point. The Shatter comes out as well, Dew getting a few picks, and they do get the point. But they have to hold this. They cannot afford to lose a single fight here, Ninja.
Well, they're not coming up against any ults. Mapo is approaching his ultimate, but that's about it. Actually, quite intelligent play if they plan to do it with the grab. The Dragons didn't get anybody, but it did single out the only tank available for the Ghost of Pripyat, which means that they had no real contesting power. So if they plan to do that, creds to them. That was a very smart play. Yeah,
and Hate just picked off there by a Hanzo arrow. It could always happen. Random headshot with an arrow. It's, you know, it hurts a little bit, but Ghost of Pripyat just waiting. They know they've got time here. They've got 2 or 3 fights. Why push in 5v6 when they go into 6?
Yeah, there's no reason to rush. DaWae being sneaky in the back though. What's he going to try and do? Anna's hacked right from the outset.
Yeah, the dive coming up the top as well. Hate managed to get Old Dragon. DaWae gets to do as well. And Mapo now with that visor just pumping damage in there whilst the rest of his team finish them off. Hate going around, dashing around on that Genji. finishing a few people off, and an effortless fight there from the Ghost of Pripyat.
Really good work. Starting to see why they did win the bi-monthly brawl as they said they did. I can believe it.
So can I. They were patient when they needed to be patient. They were aggressive when they needed to be aggressive, and their conservation, their ult economy was fantastic. They used the minimal number of ults to achieve the objectives that they needed.
Yeah, no need to just waste ults. It is, well, inherently wasteful. Ooh, stick coming out at the end. I didn't realize that was a thing.
Yeah, fantastic D.Va bomb there as well. That's what you want from D.Va bombs, right? A lot of people use them to remech or to zone, and in effect that was a zoning ult. I don't think he intended to get the 3k. He was like, okay, if I throw it out here, they're not going to be able to get back to point, but it got the 3k anyway, so always happy to see that if you're playing D.Va.
Really, I think some of the times when they say, oh, it was for zoning, when they actually just with their attempts to get 4k and they try to pass it off like some 900 IQ play.
So true, so true. You know, my zoning transcendent spawn has always been excellent.
Not all the time. Zoning shadows are a favourite of mine.
But I thought it was obviously quite a dominant performance from the Ghost of Pripyat, although Bodytype 4 did manage to win a couple of team fights there. Especially Geo as well, I thought looked pretty good. There's some really good play coming out from Bodytype 4. I think, unfortunately, Ghost of Pripyat just seemed to be a little bit more coordinated. Perhaps the team's been around a little bit longer. I don't know much about Bodytype 4 at the moment. But we saw a control map. We're going to be moving on to something different here. And quite often a team can be so dominant on a control map and then just lose it all on the assaults, on the hybrids, where the other team maybe has their own strategies. And those are the sort of maps they prefer.
Indeed. I mean, it's a different mindset for different kind of maps. 2CP, well, I guess the mindset is just like, let's try and beat the defense, even though we're really not. But I'm glad to see we're going King's Row, confirmed best map in the game. It's just amazing, perfectly well balanced. I've got a lot to say about King's Row.
Yeah, I absolutely love King's Row. A lot of people do. It's well balanced. You've got that first point that has bits of high ground, but the defenders have a couple of options there of doing the high ground defense with the Orisa D.Va, etc. Or they can just choose to go Zarya, Reinhardt, stick on that corner, and just play heavy throughout it. And you see a lot of Widow play on the offense as well. Obviously, the very famous Goat Switch Widow, or whatever you want to call it, play from the LA Gladiators against London Spitfire.
The bait and switch.
Bait and switch, yeah. I don't think we're going to see anything like that today, but great map because you go through the streets phases as well, and it's just so different to a lot of the other hybrid maps.
It may be like narrow and kind of a small map, but a lot of the fights tend to be really dynamic because they're so compressed. Everything is kind of going on in this one space, which means team fights often end up having like huge plays, like huge earth shadows, huge grabs, because everyone's so compressed in such a tight place. It means that kind of enables for that to happen. Although we're switching to Gibraltar, which is kind of sad to see. Although I do quite like Gibraltar, a lot of high ground, a lot of stuff to work with.
Oh, we were totally debated there, weren't we? Oh, I was hoping for King's Row, but we're going to see watch points to Gibraltar. Completely different type of map King's Row here. Obviously, is escort versus hybrid. You've got all that high ground at the start, and then it kind of transfers to that bit where you've still got all this high ground with the ship on the second point, and having control of that ship can be so important.
Indeed. Unless the attacking team's going to be playing like this, just kind of protect the president around the payload kind of thing. If you play dive throughout this map at any point on the offense or the defense, it's perfectly viable strat.
Yeah, and in the higher levels of play, we see, especially on the defensive, well, only on the defensive side, should I say, people trying to maintain control of the blue blocks on that high ground. But, I mean, these teams are both very, very, very good teams in their own right, but slightly lower level than, say, Grandmaster. So I think these guys are a diamond at the moment. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to try for those defenses and if they're going to try for those attacks, or whether they're going to try something completely different, because this is a scrim night, and this is the time if you want to try those strategies. It's crazy sim Torb strategies to do it. So we'll see if they do that, or would they play it safe.
Yeah, some of these things with whenever I've been scrimming, I've had one party just think, oh, we got to win this because it makes them feel better about themselves. I'm of the opinion, if you want to do something stupid, as you said, now is the time to do it. Doesn't really matter at this point. If you lose awfully, then it's just your pride that's a bit hurt, but that's kind of easily fixable. You don't have to talk about it.
Yeah, and it's always nice to get a win, but if you're scrimming, right, you're scrimming for a reason. You're scrimming to get the VODs, to learn from it, and to improve, so that when you do go into the tournaments, when you do go into the competitions, you can use that. So actually, sometimes having a loss, especially a close loss, is sometimes better in a scrim than a victory would be, because you can take things from that. And so if you go in and you absolutely stomp your opponents, you're not really going to learn much from that.
No.
But I did call it. I would just like to say, we've got hate. What character is he on, Ninja?
Oh, that looks like a Torbjorn, or as I like to call him, the worst hero.
He's the best hero. Come on, why has he not played so much? I'm interested to see what he change a bunch of his abilities and ultimates and mix him up a bit. But really,
yeah, I'm quite excited about it, make him a little more viable. This is a strat that I haven't seen before. I haven't even considered this either. Like, what even is this?
Well, they're holding server rooms, it looks like. Mapo pushing forward just to maybe get a bit of information here. If I'm Bodytype 4, I'm going to be pretty confused right now, right? Like, what is going on here?
Like, why is there no forward defense?
There's no forward defense, they're not holding the high ground. But perhaps their plan is just to stop the payload when it gets to the corner. We shall see.
Well, they've got a lot of healing availability coming out. They can get the hacks off. So if they can just, like, rush in and just stall the cart from here, should be fine. Dive comes in, though.
Yeah, Bodytype 4 just diving straight in there, going, we're going to try and finish you off. Cederate's managed to get hated on, so the Torbjorn is down, but DaWae showing us DaWae on that Sombra, getting a few kills there, a few hacks off as well, and a very good defense there from Ghost of Pripyat. Maybe they're feeling a bit confident from the first match, and they thought, okay, we'll try with something a little unconventional here, see if it works out, and it did, it did.
Actually, Mango, not sure if you saw Mango hitting that really, really huge anti-nade into the server room. He did get taken down by Earl Dragon, but that anti-nade, I'm sure of it, secured that fight really quite easily for them.
It's so useful having those anti-nades as Anna, now that she's back in the meta as well. So something to be very, very careful of as well when you're diving. This time it looks like Bodytype 4 are taking a slightly different route, going into that top door there. They are diving in as well. The Molten Core comes out though, he's already got it. So much damage is going to be coming in from that turret. Hate managed to kill Shaquam. MrFizz getting managing to demake Sodaritz as well there. And I mean, this is just chaos, right? You dive in,
Oh, the hammer kill!
The hammer kill, he did get a hammer kill onto the Genji as well, the BM there. But you've got to play around that Molten Core, right? Because if that goes off, you pretty much just got to economy push, but I wasn't expecting to see that second fight.
That was really actually quite remarkable to see. I'd have thought they played around the wall quite well. Bodytype 4, trying to avoid some of the turret damage, but there's only so much from the rest of the teams kind of chasing you after you.
Okay, well it looks like they switched their strategy up. Now they're saying, okay, well we can actually push this payload here and make Ghosts of Pripyat come to us. And it looks like they're going to do that. Oh my gosh, that pulse bomb from Earl Dragon. So, gets the turret and it managed to get supercharged. It doesn't get any other kills though. The Dew coming in with the blade gets Mango, so we're healing now, lost on the sides of Ghost of Pripyat. The Diva Bomb coming in. Looks like it gets the 2K. It's actually just the Torben's turret, but I'm gonna call that turret a burst right now because it effectively is, right. So a lot of good picks there from Bodytype 4. They're on that payload and worked out quite nicely for them in the end when they actually decided just to play the payload and make the Ghost of Pripyat come to them.
Yeah, unfortunately, DaWae not really able to do anything from that high ground. He does get a hack off. I didn't quite see who he hacked, but no solo Sombra is going to be able to stall the payload in a situation like this. Maybe in ranked when you're surrounded by people of questionable intelligence, but this isn't one of those times.
It's not. Mapo get the D-Mech, and Mapo get the 3K there on the Diva as well, some very good work. Payload does get round that corner up there, but now I'm guessing Ghost of Pripyat are going to go really aggressive there. I think they're confident in their abilities, they're confident in their teamwork, and they're just going to dive Bodytype 4 as soon as they get through the doors, right? Coming out for
again.
Turret's destroyed though. This is just a BM here. The EMP comes out. Diva Bomb though from Mapo does manage to pick off Sanctuary, so shutting down a lot of the healing early on in that fight. And Goes to Pripyat, sorry, doing some very, very good work and just picking off the healers so early on that Bodytype 4 just can't continue with these fights.
That was really funny to watch. Hate actually bringing out the hammer with the molten core. Actually got a Steinoritz down really, really low. The kill was finished off, I believe, by the Bionade or by the Tracer. But, well, no, it wouldn't have been the Tracer, perhaps the Sombra. It got finished off, but not by the hammer. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Bodytype 4, though, with a lot of ultimates in the bank, perhaps they're going to use these now to try and secure this fight. But MrFizz straight in there gets Kero. Can't press ahead without your Ana, really. Very good. Very good patience there on side of Bodytype 4, knowing the Ana's gone down, knowing not to invest ults. Although I'd like to see them get out of this fight a little bit quicker, but in the meantime, they have managed to push this payload around the corner quite a bit. Although they are getting staggered pretty hard now, they're going to have to regroup and come back into the next fight, right?
Oh, the BM once again with the hammer kill. I'm not sure how much more I can take of this. I'm not used to this.
Yeah, this Torbjorn really does have some hate for his opponents, it seems.
Wow, I think you're too funny for this stream. Like,
I know, right? I know.
It's too funny. Just,
all the puns, all the dad jokes. MrFizz now, Nano diving in there. Diva Bomb though, coming out Steinoritz. It hits the ceiling, it doesn't hit much else. Mango manages to get to you as well. MrFizz popping that Primal Rage, bouncing around as Monkey, monkeying about, doing his job. Very, very good defense here from Ghosts of Pripyat. Bodytype 4 just seem... I think they've got a little bit of a lack of appeal for their supports here.
Yeah,
their supports getting killed every single fight. And that's props to MrFizz as well. He's doing such a good job on that Winston of just putting so much pressure on the back line of Bodytype 4 in these fights that... it's difficult, right? I mean, I'd probably just switch to Brigitte and she'll bash him into oblivion.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do.
Just take that payload, keep it safe as if it's your baby, and then you win. Easy.
Yeah, I mean, that turret on there. Even as Genji, there's only so much damage you can deflect before you have to back off a bit.
Indeed.
Steinoritz says the Diva has been nanoed. Can he do anything with it? Let's see. The Molten Core comes out, so a lot of damage going his way. That's soaking a lot of that up then. He's managed to get to point, although now the EMP comes out from DaWae. Not much Bodytype 4 can do. All their abilities just absolutely useless in this fight.
Oh, brilliant Transcendence.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic Transcendence, just shutting down that blade. But he does manage to get a pick on FlawlessWins. So healing down there for goes to Pripyat. Although MrFizz on that Winston just doing such a good job there. I mean, it was lost fight territory.
Doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah, it's... I hate to see it sometimes. It's going in the way of Ghosts of Pripyat. Bodytype 4 though, there's been some moments of brilliance from them as well. It just seems like
they can't be
coordination
denied
isn't there.
I mean, the communication often is the biggest problem for teams. You'll see, particularly pro, like when they're interviewed and stuff. I know this isn't pro, but it's kind of relevant. That it's like, well, mechanically, we're all gods, but it's communication that's there. And once you get to a certain point in the game, mechanics simply can't get you that far. It's entirely possible that Bodytype 4 mechanically, individually, are better than Ghosts of Pripyat, but because they're just not playing Overwatch the way it's meant to be played, plug in Scrim Central, they just can't seem to break through the Ghosts of Pripyat.
Yeah, absolutely true there. I mean, all these players seem to be very, very good mechanically. It's just Ghosts of Pripyat being somewhat more coordinated, and perhaps that's through communication. Obviously, we can't see their comms here. And we don't know that much about Bodytype 4 as well. This could be a pretty new team, you know, whereas I know some of the players from Ghosts of Pripyat have been around for quite a while, although they do have some new players on board. But I've seen first point holds here before, so let's see what Bodytype 4 can do on the defense.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, first point holds on this map is honestly a little bit shameful. Anytime that I come up against, well, any first point hold on any map, I just immediately tilt off the face of the earth. Is unbelievable. Like, the first point is attacker advantage for a reason. Gives us something to kind of easy to aim for. Makes the second point a little more interesting. But if you don't make it through the first point, then there's something very distinctly wrong.
get, and it looks as though Ghost of Pripyat just going for that 5 composition there. With MrFizz still on that Winston doing a lot of the work. Although Hate shut down by Dew there. Dew getting 2k, getting a 2k there on the Hanzo. He's just sitting up top behind that Arista shield, firing arrows away. And Ghost of Pripyat are going to have to do something about that.
The main man, Durex, making his team safe. What we'd like to see.
You can call him Durex. I'm trying my worst French accent.
I wouldn't worry about it, really.
But there
wow, the headshots all around. Look at him go.
The Dewey Durex on that Hanzo gets the 3k. They need to deal with that. Ghost of Pripyat really needs to deal with that. And we've got DaWae in the back, perhaps showing us the way of dealing with that. I think they're just waiting out for that EMP, right? As soon as that EMP goes out, all the shields are down. Do they even need to wait for it though? Because he manages to pick up Sanctuary. Hate managing to get Earl Dragon as well. Now the dive is coming in from Ghost of Pripyat. Sensing some blood here perhaps, but no, they're backing off back down to payload. They're having to march it through. The EMP comes out now, but DaWae instantly just nuked by Steineritz there. MrFizz though, on the Winston, in the back lines, getting Kero. He's just done so much work for Ghost of Pripyat here. It's good to see a main tank having such a good effect on the game.
It was actually quite unfortunate for DaWae not to catch Kero in the EMP. Managed to get the nano off. Didn't serve them too well in the long run, but that could have been actually quite a costly mistake. Well, not maybe a mistake, but for want of a better word, we'll call it a mistake.
Yeah, and MrFizz punished there for maybe getting a little bit too aggressive. I think he just popped that Primal Rage to try and delay Bodytype 4 on the last point. But Ghost of Pripyat managed to secure it anyway.
MrFizz perhaps getting a little too confident. Not sure there wouldn't have been much point in investing in the Primal Rage or really extending as far as he did. There's no real point. They only have to win really one fight, and they've got over 4 minutes to do it. So perhaps questionable decision making, but well, actually no, I'm not going to question it. They're probably better than me.
It's very well watching what's going on from up here. And speaking of watching what's going on here, he comes in with the blade. Sanctuary was very good transcendence there, keeping his team alive, providing Sanctuary for them. MrFizz though does manage to jump on him, punish him quite heavily. He's going to have to get back to point now. Steineritz just stalling out that point whilst, well, he gets nanoed now. He's trying to find a target. Can he find anyone? You've got Hate who's just deflecting all the damage back at him. He does manage to find DaWae, who's just caught out on that sombra trying to get through. A pretty ballsy nano there.
Again, not sure about the nano, whether it was worth it or not, but it managed to kind of hold on for a little bit longer, so perhaps could be classed as being worth it.
Even going out for Steineritz, but he's skilled before he can get back into his mech. MrFizz just so good at the moment. He's just finding those low health targets, diving straight onto them, as he does the Super 1 right there. Moving forward, he gets Dew as well. He just senses when people are low, and he dives on them and he punishes them, and it's just. I play a lot of main tank myself, so it's just it's a pleasure to see this sort of thing. Bodytype 4 though, coming back, trying to stall out this point, but Hate with the blade does get Earl Dragon.
Fizz again, MrFizz so aggro on that Winston. Yeah, we're giving him a lot of personal credit, but I'd also like to point out the team. No Winston can do that all on his own. He simply doesn't have the damage capabilities. So really effective communication coming from the Ghost of Pripyat as well.
So true, yeah, because without those targets being low and without knowing they're low, you can't dive, right? And we're going to see a play of the game here from Duo, from my boy Durex.
Keeping his team safe.
Can
we get that like a new slogan for something?
I'm sure we can.
Duo, that is Phil. Please,
Oh.
Durex. We're meant to keep us safe, not like scarred. God damn, that was amazing to see.
Well, I hope these arrows are wrapped up. That's all I can say. But
wow. Wow.
A great game too there. Bodytype 4. I thought there was a chance of them holding that on that first point for a little bit, for a little while. It seemed that both teams ignored the payload, went for the fights, and then realised that the defending team wasn't really contesting the payload, and they could just keep one person on it to move it on up a bit. And as soon as they started doing that, both defensive teams were like, oh gosh, we've got to get to that payload now, right? And that's
yeah,
when
there's a
both
job to
defenses
do.
fell down. Exactly.
Well,
But
apparently, both teams have been watching enough your Overwatch videos where their entire title is "Don't go to the payload, don't go to the objective," and they tell you the fight is more important.
well, it
Apparently,
is.
they've taken that quite
If you win
literally.
the fight, especially on attack, right? You go in, you win the fight, you can move the payload.
Absolutely.
However, if the defenders aren't anywhere near the payload, you can keep one person on it, right? Or you can keep all 6 of you on it and force the defenders to come to you. Which, if the defenders are running dive, that's fine. You know, they probably like diving in unless you're going to counter dive them. But if they're running something like we saw out of Ghost of Prip, for instance, on that first point, where you had the Orisa, you had the Torbjorn, they were all in the server room. They didn't really have any dives to get back onto this. They had to kind of waddle out very slowly. So once Bodytype 4 realized that, I thought they did a very good job of just saying, no, we're going to set up the payload and you guys have got to come to us.
Yeah, it may have taken them 3 attempts, but they made the big brain Oh my god, I cannot speak. Big brain plays. My bad. That allowed them to at least win that first point. Just nice to see.
Yeah, some big brain plays, but not a lot of brain plays at the moment. We've only seen a little bit of.
You're funny.
I know. I try, and fail dismally.
Favorite map.
This is gonna. Oh, we are actually going to King's Road now, are we?
Yeah, we are.
There we are. Okay, exciting times. We were speaking about this before.
Do we like Control C, Control V? Is that possible with speech?
Oh, I hope so. Maybe we could just replay what we spoke about before. No, I'm pretty pumped here because we've seen quite a bit of dive out of Ghosts of Pripyat, and usually you don't see a lot on King's Road. Maybe on attack on first point, but other than that, not really. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these two teams match up with the heavier compositions, if they do choose to play them, which I'm hoping they will.
Well, we saw actually quite a lot of dive coming out from the New York Excelsior in the Overwatch League, kind of near the end. Now, while this isn't a pro-level match, it's always good to emulate the pros. I mean, who else are you going to emulate to try and get good? But so dive on here, if you do it properly with the kind of communication that is required for it, then it is possible to win it out. Although, again, as you said, it'll be interesting to see how the Ghosts of Pripyat deal with more heavy tank focused map.
Yeah, and I think when we did see dive, especially in the Overwatch League, in the earlier parts of it, it was to deal with the high ground defense. And then when people realized, when Brig came into the games, people started playing Brig, and people realized that Goats was a thing. After Goats did so well in the Open previously, they just realized, okay, we can get on point, and then this high ground setup's got to come down and contest us. And if you've got a good diva who can get down there, contest, and manage to escape just in the nick of time whilst she's being healed, and just keep doing that whilst your junk just pumps damage down, that's absolutely fantastic for you. But you need to be so well coordinated to do that, and it just takes one split second of not pressing your shift to get back up onto that high ground, and then you get team-X'd, and then the rest of your team's got to come down, and that's exactly what the attack is. So,
yeah, you get stunned, you get slept, you get flashbanged, you get charged, you get stunned again because that cooldown's broken, and slept again. It just goes over and over and over. They just kill you with all of CC.
And speaking of CC, don't have much in the way from the Ghosts of Pripyat here on defense. We've got, I suppose you could call the Sombra hack some form of CC, because you just hack someone, they can't do anything, right? But both teams running pretty heavy comps.
Yeah, I guess it is crowd control at its purest. It doesn't have to be moving them about in ways they don't want to be. But it's always nice to see Sombra come back. Having her quite effective. I would argue that her hack is kind of broken, based on how long it takes to hack. But
hack won't matter now though, because Bodytype 4 just charging straight in there on point, with Dude just following up, getting the picks on the two main tanks of Ghost of Pripyat there. So fantastic start for Bodytype 4, getting on that point, doing what they needed to do, and Ghost of Pripyat are going to need to reform and try and contest on this street space.
Durex picking up the 2K once again, making his team safe from all harm. Love to see that.
Oh, I'm just loving the puns here. Bodytype 4 as well, just trying to create some space for himself. They're moving up, they're moving to this corner, they're moving to the next corner as well. Shaquan on that Reinhardt doing a very good job. He's being bubbled by Zara as well, so he can get aggressive. He's just moving up, He is picked off there, maybe a little bit over aggressive there. Mapo managed to melt him with that Zarya beam. She's so charged up at the moment. Moving forward, now goes to Pripyat, looking to take the fight to Bodytype 4 to secure the defensive hold perhaps in this first gate here. And they do get a lot of picks. Mapo now on that Zarya, just doing so much work already. Does she have the grab? And the grab's coming out here. This has got to be bit. The EMP coming out as well. Mango getting a few picks. As the Lucio, I mean, this has got to be EPM, right? Like, do not waste ults like that usually in defense, because Bodytype 4 can now come back. They're probably going to have their own grab next fight. They're going to have Shatter. They're going to have so many ults here to deal with Ghost of Pripyat, but maybe Ghost of Pripyat a bit overconfident right now.
Well, you say they're wasted ults, but they've still got both support ults there. The Shadow come out as well. Look at this really aggressive hold as well. Love to see that.
Yeah, MrFizz charging in there, getting Tefez. He's used his Shatter now, but I mean, you look at ult economy here. Goes to Pripyat. They're going to have the Nano next fight. That's probably it. Meantime, Bodytype 4, the rally has popped, so Earl Dragon giving his team all that extra armor. They're going to have the grab, they're going to have the steamroll here. The grab is now coming in. Squam pushing forward with the fire, gets on with the fire strike as well, so a lot of picks there. And now Bodytype 4 are going to be able to move this payload on and up towards the next checkpoint. And they're going to have a support ult in the bank. They're going to have the Demon Bomb in the bank.
Oh, that stack was so nasty.
so nasty. And goes to Pripyat here. Don't really have too much in the bank here.
No, I think trying to go for a forward hold as they did for a second time could have worked if they got the Ana abilities off on time, but if they didn't, they had to bug out right then there. Probably wasn't worth the attempt considering they'd used their main ults, which worked very effectively the first time. The second time, I'm not too sure.
Well, it always works really effectively when you pump a load of ults into it, right? I mean, ultimates are there to change the game. And now the ultimates are coming out. Fez giving his team the shields, but that's immediately dealt with by the EMP. Juno with that Demon Bomb coming over, gets the 2k. Mapo just trying to stay in the fight here. Hate on that Doomfist. Just trying to punch his way out there, but yeah, Bodytype 4 actually doing a very, very good job at. I mean, they were almost forced to conserve their ults here, right? Ghost of Pripyat maybe getting a little bit over aggressive, but we can see what they do on this third point, right?
Yeah, there's a big cluster of ults coming out there. I'm glad Bodytype 4 managed to secure the win for the second point. I would hate to see getting stalled so close to the end. It's always a bit of a heart sink.
Hot sink for the attackers, maybe not for the defenders, and we'll see what Ghost of Pripyat can do. What can they do? The Shatter comes out here. He's charging in. MrFizz though. Purple here. The Ananade comes in, stopping the healing coming on him, but he's a Nano. But Shaquan's Nano didn't return. He's just pushing forward, swinging away. He slept though, right on the edge there. Boots off, nearly boots off. Manages to stay up there. MrFizz though manages to finish off Tefez there. In the meantime, this payload is just moving all the way up. Hey, now, back on the Wrecking Ball. Great stalling hero, Simon. And,
so fast.
so fast. He's back on point. A lot of them are back on point. Bodytype 4 perhaps need to back off a little bit here. Let's see if they do so. It does look like they are very good work here, but they're starting to go straight back in. The Demon Bomb's coming out, the grab's coming out, it doesn't actually catch anyone, so the two ults are very little value there. Bodytype pushing up, they're shattered by MrFizz though, who is pushing forward, trying to swing away. Now the EMP is coming out. Now goes to Pripyat, just moving forward, taking advantage of the fact that Bodytype can't really do much when they're hacked. And quite a good defense there actually, goes to Pripyat. And now, the ults seem to be on the side of Ghost of Pripyat, if nothing else.
It's going to be a tough fight to try and push into. Again, you can see Ana and Sombra just chilling here in the back, waiting to hit those abilities. Once again, probably get another really quite clutch grab off, but we'll see what they do.
Yeah, I mean, Mapo's just got that grab on defense, and having that grab on defense is so useful, because you can pretty much guarantee you're going to win this fight, right? So I'd like to see an economy push from Bodytype 4. I'd like to see them go in dry, not use any ults, try and force that grab out, maybe try and force the Nano out as well. Whether they're going to do so or not, we shall see. Maybe they'll going to take some victory and something like that. The grab does come out with the Wrecking Ball ult as well. Both teams using grabs there. Both Nanos coming out the right, they both charge each other. Bodytype just pushing ahead here, swinging into each other. In the meantime, Dew just gets a pick on Hate, but Mapo managing to melt Shaquan there with the beam. Melt Dew as well. Hate managed to pick up Kero with the backbone.
Oh, poor Kero, getting knocked in back into Hate's own ultimate. Either 900 IQ or complete luck. Nothing
It just happens sometimes, right? Those mines can... you get knocked into them, there's not much you can do. But again, a lot of ults coming out from Ghost of Pripyat, but Bodytype 4 using a lot of ults as well. We'll see what they do with this dragon, because there is going to be the switch from Steineritz.
Bringing out the Roadhog. He may not be particularly meta right now, but sometimes you just got to run the Pigman.
And the Lucio ult coming out there on the side of Ghost of Pripyat. A lot of shielding there. Maybe not even necessary, but MrFizz think it is. He gets a bit too far forward, he's punished for it. Dew managed to get flawless wins as well, so a lot of healing now goes to Pripyat. Bodytype 4 now looking to take advantage of this and moving on up, moving around that corner, creating a lot of space. But Ghost of Pripyat just backing off, knowing they've lost a few people. And there's only 60 seconds left on the clock as well, so not much time left. MrFizz now back in action, he's charging in there, he's bubbles. The EMP comes out though, the grab comes out though, great work there from the Ghost of Pripyat. They managed to clean up that fight very, very quickly, and Bodytype 4 are going to have to get back and get back fast.
3 really huge ults, clearly trying to secure the win early so they can bring up a forward defense, not even let Bodytype 4 anywhere near the payload, which would be an unfortunate way to end the round for Bodytype 4. They've done a really quite good job on the offense, but they've got to be stopped at some point.
Maybe they won't be. I mean, look at the ults they've got in the banker. They've got the EMP, they've got the Shatter, they've got the Dragon. They're going to have Coalescence as well. They're going in, they know this as well. The Coalescence now coming out from Kero here, keeping his team alive, doing a bit of damage as well towards Ghost of Pripyat. Now the EMP comes out. Bodytype 4, they want this victory. They know this is it. This is going into overtime now. They can't afford payload. Dragon gets the pick on Hate there as well. And Ghost of Pripyat not really contesting at the moment. They need to send someone there. But the grab comes in. Oh my god.
Again with the Graviton.
Straight in there, and this grab was charged up so quickly. I'm absolutely amazed right there. I mean, I know there's been changes to Zarya. She keeps her charge up for higher, but I did not expect to see a grab at the end there.
As you said, really unexpected ult. Actually, really great team play from the Ghost of Pripyat right at the end. They knew Shaquan had the Shadow, and as soon as they got EMP'd, they just ducked around the corner, couldn't get line of sight. And when Shaquan did go down for the Shadow, he got anti-naded, he got focused down really well. So really great team play right at the end from the Ghost of Pripyat. Really nice to see. Love that.
Yeah, and it was lovely to see Bodytype 4 as well doing so well on the offense. I know they were stopped on that third point, but we saw the control map, we saw the escort map as well, so we saw Oasis and Gibraltar there, and it did look like Ghost of Pripyat were quite dominant on those. But Bodytype 4 came out the doors like bolting here on King's Row, managed to secure that first point victory in their first push, and then do very well on the second point and get it to the third point there as well. And now we're going to see what they can do on the defense, because if they can win this out, they're only 2-1 down. If we go to a fourth map, they can make this even again, and we can see a reverse sweep.
That would be something that I would not expect, considering the outcomes of the first 2 maps. Again, that is the point of a reverse sweep, I suppose. So it would be that would be fun. Means I get to sit here and watch a really quite great Overwatch even more. Love that.
Yeah, I mean, this King's Row here, both sides just seem a lot more practiced on it. I know a lot of teams like playing it as well, so it was a lot closer. Looking at the comps here, though, very interesting comp coming out on the sides of Pripyat. They got the Ryan, they got the Zarya, but MrFizz is back on that monkey.
I guess he's so aggro on that monkey that if he can be kept alive, then may as well have him. Although he does switch out to the Junkrat, which will be interesting. Playing the main tanks. Oh, Bastion again. What is he playing? What are you doing, man?
He's just playing with us. He's trying to enforce the caster's curse, but it does look like he's going to be the monkey, and it does look like they're going to go straight to point as well. But a hack there from the side of Bodytype 4 into the backbone. Doesn't really do much though. In the meantime, MrFizz diving in, picks up Dragon quite early in this fight. Duo manages to punish Hate though on that Roadhog. Mango flawless wins though. Managed to get picks of their own. Both Reinhardt's just charging on point here, swinging away. However, FlawlessWins does have all the healing, so he wins out in that Rhine battle there. And a very swift first point victory for Ghost of Pripyat there.
Really interesting comp coming out from them as well. Really relied on them just storming to the point and staying there, because they really have next to no healing. You have Soldier's healing, which is basically nothing for a team. You got Lucio's healing. While he does heal multiple people in an area, he just doesn't provide enough healing to kind of come up against damage coming out from the opposition. But they still managed to do it, which was remarkable. I did not expect that at all.
They're very quick, they're very aggressive, they get a lot of early picks. And speaking of early picks, Mapo gets Shaquan there very early on. FlawlessWins as well, with those fire strikes, they just seem to be connecting on a lot of these. And Ghost of Pripyat pushing up, creating so much space for them. And in the meantime, they've got Mango sitting on the point as Lucio, just pushing on up there. That payload's going to get a lot of distance here before Bodytype 4 can get back in the action.
MrFizz doing a really great job there, just singling out Kero. Even Steinoritz was there in his way. He just walked on past him like it was nothing. Killed Kero right at the end. Absolutely fabulous wins to play from him.
Yeah, we've got hate on that Barrow, just throwing rockets into Bodytype 4, but they are coming back. Shaquan is nanos. There's a counter grab in return though. FlawlessWins just pushing ahead, charging into that there. There is the counter shatter there though from Shaquan. He charges in, he gets FlawlessWins, he gets Mapo. A 2k there for Shaquan. He needs to push up and get on point though, otherwise they are going to get this third point. There's only him and Kero there. Is he going to take the chance? Is he going to move up? It does look like he is. Can he get there at the last moment? His boots off, he charges back in, he's on point. Kepo there just keeping him alive as well, and there's nothing that Ghost of Pripyat can really do with it at the moment. In the meantime, Bodytype 4 all coming back to this point. Ghost of Pripyat needing to come back together. It looks like they are just about back together. MrFizz comes in, Flawlessness now with his own shatter. Goes in there, swings away, gets both supports as well. That's exactly what you want, Reinhardt. He is punished by Shaquan, but support's now gone for Bodytype 4. Ghost of Pripyat in there, taking advantage of that, and they're going to get this second point, sorry.
Alright, buddy, you can take a break now. That was a really long, drawn-out fight. A very exciting play to see. Really quite dynamic right at the end there. All the ults coming out, the counter ults and the counter ults. So many layers of countering, which I didn't expect to see. Almost ogre level levels of countering. For all those who get the reference, you'll laugh, I imagine.
And for the others, I'm hoping he's going to explain that on his Twitter.
It was a Shrek reference, because Shrek says onions have layers, so they're like ogres who also have layers. It was a really weak link, but I tried.
Speaking of layers, DaWae there, showing us DaWae on the McCree. He only gets a 1k against his opposite upper L Dragon. But Bodytype 4 now having to come out, trickle on to this point almost. They've got a few people there though. Shaquan is nanoed. In the meantime, MrFizz on that monkey, swing away with the Primal Wage, he gets Steinoritz. But Joe coming out the doors with his arrows, making pin cushions out of everyone. Hate coming in though with the barrage, getting Juice there. And the rest of his team managing to pick up some kills as well. So all of these fights, I thought Bodytype 4 have done so well. And then someone comes out of nowhere and goes to Pripyat and manages to shut them down. So Ghost of Pripyat will win that map, but it was so close.
It's always nice to see GG's in the chat. Steinoritz getting that solo grab right at the end, ultimate in BM.
Look at this, he's charging right back in, he's bubbled. Oh my gosh, that shatter, and then the grab coming out as well. Grab possibly not needed there, but hey, it helps, right? If you're a Reinhardt, you can just hold
Pure filth. That team play was excellent.
Someone needs to show how it's done.
Oh, Mapo clearly, voting for himself. Selfish little bastards. What's he doing that for?
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about a lot about the main tank play, and I specifically have been talking about a lot about MrFizz because I think he's done a wonderful job. But you cannot do that job without your supports, right? So
absolutely not.
So some great support play on the sides of Ghost of Prip and on Bodytype 4 as well. I thought Kero has done a very good job on the Ana so far. Especially there was a little section of King's Row there where Kero was just keeping their Reinhardt alive on the point, and it went a bit downhill after that. Unfortunately, I think a lot of pressure's been put on Kero, but he's done a pretty good job of throwing those sleep darts out there and staying in the fight.
But this kind of map does, well, not this kind of map, this kind of matchup really does show the importance of keeping the main support alive. MrFizz has said doing a really good job shutting down Kero, which meant that Bodytype 4, they may have been able to win a fight if Kero was still alive throughout the fight, but because just the way he was shut out from the fight was honestly kind of brutal to watch by the end of it. It was just
Yeah.
over and over again. He just wasn't getting the peeling required.
Yeah, as you say, you need that peel as the Ana. I mean, before the support changes, where Mercy used to be quite prevalent in the meta, I mean, Mercy can just go, okay, I'm being dived by Winston. I've got Widowmaker on the high ground. I'm just going to shift away and Guardian Angel up to them, right? As Ana, I mean, you've got to hit your sleep dart, maybe get an anti-nade in there to keep yourself alive and stuff. But you need some peel, right? Especially if you're being dived by two people, because say you sleep the Winston, but then you've got a Genji on you as well. It's like, well, gosh, what do I do? I mean, if you're a god like Ana, perhaps you can shut it down. But it just helps so much to have some peel. And I think Brig's done very good in the current meta of doing a bit of peel like that, acting just as a bit of a guardian for the Ana who can pump in all that hit.
Yeah, that's kind of playing Ana on the defense is a bit tricky like that because you have to kind of keep moving backwards, kind of judge where you have to be when the payloads move like another 5-10 meters. You yourself will have to move about 30 meters back to maintain line of sight, but also keep yourself safe. Kind of like Widow, range is your best defense. Because if something simply can't get to you, then you're safe. But at the same time, if you're in that weird kind of no man's land between super aggro and super defensive, if you're anywhere in there and something can get to you like a Winston or a Diva or both, then you're kind of screwed because unless you, as you said, hit those abilities, you really can't stay alive for long without any help.
Yeah, so true. If you're so far back they can't touch you, that's great. Unfortunately, I mean, usually, like if you see an Ana really far a team, someone tends to switch to a Genji or whatever, or a Sombra even. Anyone that can get into the back line and try and just keep that Ana up. Yeah, because you don't even need to kill the Ana. So long as she's concentrating on killing you, she's not healing her team. And she does a lot of the main healing here, especially when you're playing heroes like Lucio and stuff who don't do that much healing, you know, unless he's pressing his E or something like that. I think it's just 16 HPS as kills per second when he's using his normal aura, which isn't a great deal. But we are going to Anubis. I do like. I know a lot of people don't like 2CP or Assault as they're known because of the snowballs and the rolls and things like that. But personally, this is one of my favourite maps actually. Just for that first point defense, you get the treehouse defenses. You can do a bit of dive. There's just so many different options.
I quite like Anubis kind of due to the way the maps evolved because this was one of the first maps released. I think this actually came with the release version of Overwatch. It's kind of changed so dramatically. Just looking at that now, the kind of little doorway down main to point B used to be like 2 meters wide. It was ridiculous. It was so narrow. It was quite tall, but really narrow. They changed that immediately. These first archways, they only used to be one, again, narrower, lower as well. But I think seeing the evolution of stuff like that, of this in game, has been really interesting to watch. I've just loved watching this game grow from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. The changes they made to the map are excellent, and the composition. Excuse me. The changes to the heroes and the new heroes being brought in, and the compositional changes that's allowed to flourish has been really interesting. I mean, we saw in contenders fairly recently where an attacking team used a Symmetra and a Bastion to just get up onto that high ground, which the defending team weren't expecting. The ability to do things like that, I think, is fantastic. I mean, a lot of the time, teams will wait until they're in big tournaments to pull out those kind of plays because they're the sort of plays that only work once or maybe twice. So you don't really want to give it away in this scrim. And we're going to see some interesting comps here from both teams, I think.
It's always nice to see the Orisa Hulk combos coming out again. The combo kind of died a little bit. Roadhog just, not even through his own fault, it's just other balance changes mean Roadhog's just a little less viable. I mean, if you can hit those Hulk hook combinations properly, then it's still like really easy to try and pick up the kills. But aside from that, we're seeing the change from Brigitte coming out to the Zenyatta. Trying to get an interesting amount of heals coming out.
Yeah, it's fairly. I mean, a lot of the time when you see the Orisa played, someone runs out the gates. Or it used to be May, but is now Symmetra with a new teleport ability to get up onto that high ground and try and keep that high ground. But it looks as though Ghost and Pripyat are going to take this forward defense here with the Orisa, with the Mercy, with the Hog, looking for those Hulk hooks, as you say.
Orisa is actually really quite effective because because of this little bit of high ground, she's got so much natural protection as well as her really quite awesomely designed barrier. To me, she's such a suppressive force, and there he goes.
And look at that hook there as well. She quite just absolutely dragged in there and annihilated. And it looks as though Pripyat doing a very, very good job on defense. So Bodytype 4 needing to reset. But they're going for this dive composition, right? And it's pretty much pure dive, minus the Mercy replaced with Anna, who, I mean, Anna seems to be the new main healer these days.
Quick reset's going to be necessary. If they try to carry on going in like all my teammates do in ranked, and they just get tilted, as I said, off the face of the earth. We don't be wanting that. As the great Sir Swag once said, the team that tilts first loses. Can't be having that.
So true, so true. And at this level of play as well, you'd expect them to have good communication and have discussed what they're going to do in advance. So, Bodytype 4 coming back now. However, hate with that Junkrat. He has the tire already. It comes out, it gets Stenorites, sorry, straight on in that fight. Bodytype 4 though, are they going to press ahead? They might do. Mapo there caught by the Anna nade, so he's not really healed, but he's backing off quite nicely. And it looks like Bodytype 4 do want to try and press this advantage here. Shaquan there manages to get Mango, so a lot of healing there gone. Decides to go to Pripyat. The Nano now coming out. Shaquan getting that Nano almost every single fight, it seems. He's there on point, but he's there alone. DaWae, though, showing us DaWae on that Widowmaker, getting a few picks there. Can Bodytype 4 secure this point? They've got the spawn advantage. They are on the point. MrFizz there, just trying to contest on that Orisa. A few people on the high ground as well, but Dao's straight up there on the Genji. Managed to get FlawlessWins. So healing, main healing there, gone on the side of Pripyat. Shaquan just moving to that point to swing away. All goes to Pripyat here doing, just stalling out a little bit. I'm surprised to see this transcendence from Mango, who really do point. They think they can win it. With Mapo coming on the tracer, he gets L-Dragon. Maybe they are right. What on earth is going on here? Goes to Pripyat, so confident that they can win this fight. Bodytype 4 though, coming back to the point. And now the blade is coming out from Dave. Can he get anybody though? This is the question. At the moment, no. Mapo, though, does manage to get Kero, though. Mango's now back in the fight as well on that Zenyatta, managing to shut down Q. And now the Orisa ult there, the Supercharger, giving Ghost of Pripyat all that extra damage in the fight. And I cannot believe Ghost of Pripyat managed to secure that.
Wow, really, really great calls coming out there. Whoever made the call to stall is an absolute god. Or really, really lucky. Either way. The kind of same effect as achieved success on the defense. And you saw the Dragon Blade come out. I've got to make more jokes about this. Durex is only 97% effective. I guess this was one of those 3%.
Durex is 97% effective. Playing Overwatch, 100% effective. All right. We got...
Okay, no need to be doing that. No need to be doing that. At least insult like Fortnite or something. Come on.
So true, so true. Bodytype 4 though, pushing in now. They're going through that left-hand door there from the attacking perspective. Getting up there, taking the fight to go to Pripyat. No real picks as yet. Both sides quite heavy there. Some very, very good healing coming out from the back lines. However, Shaquan now down. Mapo managed to get him, but they're going straight and getting MrFizz. So main tank now gone for the sides of Pripyat. DaWae though, on that Widowmaker, almost uncontested there. Managed to get Old Dragon. And Hate comes back on that Doomfist. Gets Kero, gets Stenorites, and we've seen him come back on that Doomfist a few times now. And there we go, shutting down Dios as well.
Yeah, an incredible defense. It was very unfortunate. They got really good picks off early for the anti-nade coming out from Kero onto MrFizz on the Orisa. Just weren't able to heal him back up. They did get the res off eventually, but that was the pick to capitalize on. They need to know there's probably a communication error, just trying to uncluster the comms, know where the enemy is, so you can basically just kill them as quickly as possible. But killing their main tank, even if you lost one of your DPS, if they lose their main tank, you're in the running there, particularly with a small spawn advantage as well.
Yeah, and it seems that the narrative for these few games that we've seen so far is kill the Ana, win the fight. You know, once the Ana's down, you lose so much of that healing. However, in that scenario, I think Bodytype 4 had managed to finish off some of the healers on the sides of Ghost of Pripyat. However, they just didn't manage to focus their targets enough. They were sort of scattered around the point, shooting different targets, which just allowed Ghost of Pripyat. But I don't think there was much time for them to actually get back to the point and secure that. But we saw the Tracer come back, annihilate a few people. Bodytype 4.
Again, it was that team play triumphing over individual play. I guess this is what scrims are for, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. And I think Bodytype 4 are going to be able to take some really, really useful information out of this scrim if they look back at their VODs. I think they're going to see some real improvement here because they seem to be excellent players, especially in one-on-one scenarios. There seem to be moments of brilliance from them throughout the series so far as well. And they do have the opportunity to defend now, and we're going to have Earl Dragon on that high ground with the Widow being damage boosted by Kero there. So a little bit of Mercy play, nice to see. I've seen a lot of Mercy play recently since the support changes.
Yeah, she's not dead just yet. Fortunately for you, Mercy 1 tricks boosted into Master. She's not dead yet.
Nope. Well, as she says, heroes never die. Am I right?
Indeed.
Indeed. We will see if heroes die now, though, because Ghost of Pripyat now pushing straight on up there. Are they going to look to take that high ground? Looks like they think about it, but thought, nope, let's just go straight to point here. Pushing onto that point with the Ghost composition as well. So Bodytype 4 having to come down to contest, but Mango gets to pick on Old Dragon there as well.
Oh, they couldn't make it.
It's over so quickly. Just Bodytype 4, a few of their players maybe misjudged the timing there, wanting to contest at the last minute, but just missing the point there, unfortunately.
He's showing us the way now. Let's have a look at this Widow play. Filth coming out there, cheeky headshot. Couple of whiff shots. So you're gonna get the hook shot.
Oh,
Filth.
he gets the Anna though. He does get the Anna. That's the shot you need to make, right? Whiff all your others, get the Anna though. Fine.
Ouch. Kero coming in huge on his own team. Hang on, this is unexpected. Top 10 times our tanks were temporarily replaced with robots. Ouch. No need for this, Kero. Calm yourself.
But let's see if we're going into another map here as well. And it looks like we will be seeing another map, which I'm quite happy about because it's been pretty close, right? Even though Ghost of Pripyat are getting all the results on King's Row, and even at times they're on Anubis as well. Bodytype 4 look very, very good. So some good play from both teams there. I'm just interested to see what the map they're going to pick next is, because again, this is a scrim if you're just joining us, so we go with whatever the teams want to do here, right? We're here for them, and it's not in tournament format. There aren't specific maps that are picked out here. It's like it's almost like Marquis Queensberry rules here. The teams pick what they want to pick, they play what they want to play, and we cast as they're doing it.
Just thinking about that, the game we just saw, Temple of Anubis, I don't really have a lot extra to say. We've kind of covered everything already. Might be able to see if they see a different dynamic for whatever the next map is. Li Jiang coming in as the suggestion. But I think the Ghost of Pripyat, I've got that communication down, and even if it's not perfect, it's superior to Bodytype 4. Bodytype 4, I guess, as you said earlier, they just go back to their VODs. They know what they're gonna work on. But I think it was nice to see them pick up a map win at the end. I think that'll be a really good thing to see. 'Cause going 5-0 is really, it's kind of heart crushing. It may be a scrim, but still losing that much just isn't really nice. It's all about having fun at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, Overwatch is a game. It's a fun game. It's a competitive game, and there's so many elements to it, right? Which is why I think people love it. And we are going to go to Li Jiang Tower, another control map. Ghost of Pripyat did take the first control map from Bodytype 4, but Li Jiang Tower so different to Oasis. Let's see what the first map within Li Jiang Tower is going to be, because I think that's going to be deciding.
Now, yes, I love this point. Do you have a particular favorite Li Jiang point?
I like Control Center only because it's so enclosed, and you see a lot of heavy comps, and it's got a little bit of high ground, and you kind of play that. But I think Legion Tower is just very good in general. Most Koth maps are, well, all Koth maps are equally balanced, right? You've got the same routes back into the point. So it's all about which team communicates better, which players are perhaps more mechanically skilled as well, because you don't have to worry about a payload or capturing a specific point other than the one in the middle, right? You don't have a defense versus attack, so to speak. You've just got two teams vying for that middle point. So I'm excited to see. I'm hoping Bodytype a bit of a comeback here. It would be lovely to see at the end of this. And I think they've got the ability to do so. We've seen some good Hanzo play, we've seen some good Ana play. I'm just excited to see this.
Which map we going on? Oh, we're staying on this one. I personally really like this one, because I found you can make a lot of things work on this map, because there isn't really high ground to contest, but there's a lot of open space. So if you run something really tank heavy, then enemy team can stick a Fire or a Doomfist, and really those tanks are going to have a really hard time trying to contest whatever's kind of out of their reach up in the sky. And if you go dive, you can go and contest that, but you can counter that with different comps. It's really quite a dynamic map. I know a lot of maps have that, but also I quite like this one aesthetically as well. It's a really kind of just nice little atmosphere. I wouldn't expect, if I was to just arrive here kind of as some tourist, kind of random, I wouldn't expect a huge 6v6 like superhero fight to break out here. It's kind of peace, kind of tranquil. Little pond down the middle, the pond of death.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect to die so quickly just jumping into a... But
Hey,
I
who
think
knows?
that might be,
Maybe those like fish are like super killer fish.
magic death carp or whatever.
Man, I'm looking down here in the spectator mode. Some of these fish are huge, man.
Well, both teams now out the doors, and we are seeing you run that Pharaoh, as you speak about before, pumping a lot of damage into the Ghost of Pripyat, who don't have much in the way of people to deal with him other than flawless wins on that Ana, perhaps. But Mango getting the boop onto bed, though. Got to watch out for those Lucio boops, and he's hanging around the corner looking for some more. In the meantime, Dew does get flawless wins, so a lot of healing down there for both sides. So this is about who can win out and who can win out quickly. And Shaquan there, straight on hate with that cleave, finishes him off. And Bodytype 4 don't manage to secure the point. Sorry, Ghost of Pripyat managed to secure the point. Kerry managed to get the rest of Shaquan there though, so Bodytype 4 having that man advantage, and they're pushing onto the point, but they need to get kills and need to get them quickly, but they're spread out all over the place at the moment. Steineritz managing to pick off MrFizz though. DaWae though manages to DMX Steineritz in return. Flawless wins back on the point, healing up his team, getting El Dragon, and that was kind of unfortunate from Bodytype 4 there. They had the man advantage for so long. And they just didn't manage to focus the target as quickly as perhaps they should have done.
Funny to see Mapo just throwing out the Graviton. I'm sure he saw an opportunity to get like a cheeky 3k grab, but by the end of it, they all died so quickly that he kind of just chucked it out. Though he is already at almost 30%, so you know it's not exactly a slow build-up for him. We've seen that in prior maps. Random Graviton after like 40 seconds later. That's the kind of power that we've got with Zarya.
Yeah, well, she's had those changes recently, so oh my gosh, DaWae getting big. But she's had those changes that allow her to build up more quickly, but she can't capture as many people within them. So, oh, the barrage now coming out from Duo. He does get Mango, but he's shut down quite quickly by Mapo there as well. But Joe instantly res by Kero. Just a fizz there though to punish Kero for that res. He's popping off the Primal Rage there, and Bodytype 4 needs to either win out or get out, and MrFizz making sure they do get out by getting those picks in there.
There's a interesting interaction between the Nano Boost and the mech. The Nano Boost and the Bionade bringing D.Va up actually to full health, but because the damage of the Pulse Bomb had already kind of happened, she still managed to get out of the mech despite the mech actually being healed back up to almost full HP. Interesting. Yeah. Oh boy. That is filthy from MrFizz. What are you doing, man? Calm yourself.
Yeah, and it is the final fight. Bodytype wants to get back on here, but the grab now coming out. MrFizz, as you say, gets all those moves. And the rest of his team managing to follow up as well. Bodytype 4 just trickling in, trying to win out here. There's no way in hell Pharaoh's going to win out against an entire team there. And Ghosts of Pripyat do take first point. Lijiang Tower.
Another dominating performance coming out of them as well. I fear Bodytype 4 is not going to be able to win this back as we hoped. I mean, impossible for a reverse sweep, but I would have liked to see a map win.
Never say never, and we do have Market Gardens here. Again, with a lot of boot potential. We saw a few boots in the last match, and I think we're going to see some Lucio play here because he's just so useful for the AoE healing on the point, and if anyone tries to come around the sides, they've got to be so careful.
Yeah, Lucio boot. I've always found it a little bit temperamental as an ability, because sometimes it just like boots them into the next dimension, but while at the same time, the next person you boot 4 seconds later will be like a meter away for like no viable reason.
I think it's just the physics engine. It depends on the way that they're moving. They're moving. They go so far, as you say. Moving towards you maybe a little less, and maybe we'll see some of that in the upcoming fight. But goes to Pripyat now on the point. Basically, Bodytype 4 on the point, so you've got to come here. Anane does come out, so a lot of healing there, lots of Bodytype 4. And in the meantime, MrFizz on that Reinhardt, showing he's just as dominant on the Reinhardt as he is on that Wiz.
Super aggro, almost Fraggy-esque. Love to see it. I personally like to play quite an aggressive style on my main tanks. It's nice to see that really come to fruition here.
Yeah, MrFizz being so aggressive, but being allowed to be so by the healing on his team. I mean, FlawlessWins doing some flawless healing throughout this series, and Bodytype 4, they are coming back. They've got the dive here, and they've got the Doom Fist as well. So maybe we'll see a few supports getting fisted.
The dive can prove to be really effective, particularly with the fire, because Ghosts of Pripyat are running kind of a ground-based comp. They're relying on the defensive power of all of their ultimates, all their tanks, just their standard abilities. But I saw the last one I casted here on Scrim Central, dive triumphing over tank-heavy comp, simply just by communication, target focus. But it seems that the Bodytype 4 don't seem to quite have that yet, which is unfortunate. But as we said before, this experience will help them grow. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, and it's so hard to run dive against the composition that Ghosts of Pripyat are running, because the only real dive target is the Ana, and if the Brig or the Mei is anywhere near them, you dive in, you get frozen, you get stunned, the rest of the team descend upon you, and with a team like Ghosts of Pripyat, who are so well coordinated, you get punished pretty heavily. Mango is down pretty early in this fight, so Bodytype 4 wanting to take advantage of this. They're moving up, they're just looking for some dive targets perhaps. Moving in through the main doors, can they spot the Ana? Are they going to dive the Ana? The shatter does come out from MrFizz though, charge coming away as well. The Mei throws out the Blizzard, so that dive shutdown's pretty good.
Again, not able to capitalize on that first pick. Durex whipping out a cheeky, really super cheeky headshot, but again, just really unfortunate that they're not able to work more off of that.
Yeah, Hell's Dragon getting a 2k with this barrage at the end there. Obviously, you go for those 2k kills. If you know you've been lost, just hit Q, right? But, as this is a scrim night, we are going to the third map. We are getting Control Center, possibly my favourite map of Lijiang Tower. Are you excited about the map?
I think not so much for the map, but the team comps that we'll be seeing, in that because it's such a dynamic map that you can run dive because there is enough space just about to do it. Little bits of high ground here and there. You can also run something really tank heavy, which seems to be coming out from both teams. But I think it'll be interesting. Some teams prefer dive, like of the purest form. Some prefer kind of what some might consider more brainless tank play, but got the speed onto the point now from Bodytype 4, and the fight started already.
Yeah, they're straight in there. That Mei wall up there, though, just separating Stonerex from his team. MrFizz charging in there and taking him out of his mech straight away. And Bodytype 4 now pushing up towards Ghosts of Pripyat spawn, trying to get a few kills. Also, Dragon does manage to get Mango's turret there. Mango playing the Torbjorn. Maybe a bit of a BM pick here, and maybe it's working against Ghosts of Pripyat because Bodytype 4 do manage to get the point.
Who knows? At this point, they've won all the maps so far. Maybe at this point they're just looking to have a bit of fun right at the end. But who knows? I'm not going to question Mango. He'll kill me with a hammer. I don't want that.
And this time we've got hate on the monkey. Fizz. So he's diving in, he's nanoed, he does a lot of damage there. D.Va Bomb coming out, Shaquan just frozen on the point there and finished off. Although, Bodytype 4 doing quite a good job at delaying this, they do get roughly 30% on the clock here, it looks like it's going to be. So, but goes to Pripyat, a lot of ults in the bank, and they are now under it.
Invest in the sound barrier to try and just increase just a couple of percent. Possibly not worth it, maybe a misclick, we don't know. But the effect is still the same, they lose the point either way, and the fight's up again already. Whoa, huge shadow there coming out from MrFizz.
Yeah,
wow.
And Mapo does manage to get the pick on Shaquan as well. There's both teams looking to take it to each other there. Tevez managing to just boot MrFizz to finish him off. He's very, very low health there as well. D.Va Bomb now coming out from Mapo. Can he get anyone? Yes, he can. He gets Shaquan there.
Oh, poor Shaquan, man. He's just charging in like a hopeless North Reinhardt that he is. And just gets greeted with a 1000 damage D.Va Bomb.
Yeah, and it does get a lot of out of Ghost of Pripyat. They're only up to 40% on the clock. If Bodytype 4 can get back together again, they're going to have nearly 6 ults in the bank here.
If you look back towards the point, Torb turret set up on that little bit of high ground. And it's back to this little glass container outside the point. Really kind of commanding view of the point. Quite difficult to get to as a team as well without getting a lot of damage from the enemy.
But get to it, they must do. And Bodytype 4 now coming in, they're using the Coalescence, they're using the Grab, they're using the D.Va Bomb. A lot of ults coming out here, but the Blizzard's coming down, just shutting down their advance quite early on. They're all frozen there on the point, and DaWae and Mango managing to pick up the kills there. Shaquan does get DaWae with the shatter, but it's a bit too little too late. And Bodytype 4 having to get back together again, regroup, and they're going to have one more push on this one.
The double turret kill coming in at the end, really putting the nail in the coffin there for Bodytype 4. I mean, Torbjorn is kind of entertaining, but when you get killed by a turret like that, I wouldn't appreciate it. I wouldn't like that.
Yeah, it's never nice, but he can be a pretty decent hero. But Mapo comes straight out with that D.Va Bomb, getting a 2k with Kero, with you, straight on in that point. But it's the final fight. Bodytype 4 needs to get on the point, and they need to win this, but so many picks going against them here. So difficult to go 4v6, and goes to Pripyat, staying on that point, getting the pick safely. And looks like they're going to go 3-0 on the Zhang Tower here.
Really, really commanding play throughout this series from the Ghosts of Pripyat, and they will take the entire match as a victory.
Yeah, very, very good work from Ghosts of Pripyat. We've given them a lot of credit. Bodytype 4 perhaps not meeting up as well as we thought they would do. We don't know much about Bodytype 4, but they had some really good plays throughout this as well. And it may have gone the way of Ghosts of Pripyat, but I think it's a bit closer than perhaps the scoreline suggests.
I think the dynamic between the two teams is quite interesting. I'm gonna assume Bodytype 4 was the newer team, and so they can take so many lessons from this, meaning that they can come back month, 2 months time, if we're fortunate enough to cast them again and try and see their improvement. I think that would be great to see.
Yeah, and we've seen that with teams before who've just formed, make a lot of mistakes. They go into this thing, they look back at the reviews, and if they've got good coaches, they've got good reviewers and things like that, and they take on board that information, they can come back and do very well. And hopefully, in one of Scrim Central's bi-monthly brawls, we may well see Bodytype 4. We may see them come back, and we may see them take the prize. I'd absolutely love to see that.
That'll be really, really interesting. I'll tune into that stream anytime.
Indeed. And this has been it from Scrim Central's midweek madness. I'm Spaceman. I was joined by my boy Ninja for this. We saw an excellent matchup between the Ghosts of Pripyat versus Bodytype 4 here. Ghosts of Pripyat taking the victory at the end there, quite decisively so. But it's been a very, very entertaining match, and hopefully we should be back with you next week with some more with midweek madness.
Dive goes in. Oh my god, the stick! The stick on Tashkin actually delivers the bomb straight to Icehound. Can you be the hero for your team? Can you be the hero that your team needs? No, it looks like actually you're coming.
staircase, but look at this engagement from Team Miska.
Oh, dogs!
Apathy!
Oh!
Beat them! Oh my god! They're gonna get the quad barrage!